So,
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good.
feeling real good.
Hey, you ever gone? How long have you lived here in Colorado?
10 years? Hold on. 2010 to 13 years?
13 years.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone skiing or snowboarding?
No,
Not once.
not once.
So I think we talked about this before. There are different levels of your slopes that you go down. So you have like, I think the beginners is like green, but then you have advanced is blue, and then you got like diamonds, double diamonds, are the blacks. So obviously, pretty much, you're kind of going either off trail or it's just really advanced of a slope, right?
Okay.
There's this video that I recently came across, and it's my biggest fear. This was my biggest fear when I went snowboarding.
This is my nightmare.
Yeah, was so when the closer you get to the trees, you kind of have like a wow, like it just drops in. The snow is so soft.
Yeah.
you just drop in.
Okay.
And there was a skier, right? He was moving his way through the trees, and as he came to a stop, he like turned to his right, and he was like, "Holy shit!" He saw a board just sticking up. And he like turned around and he realized there were still feet attached to it. This dude had just sunk into the tree well.
Oh, man.
And so he starts digging. And I didn't realize how deep this guy got. His body went all the way down. If it wasn't for his board, no one would have saw. If it wasn't for that guy skiing through
skiing through there.
trail, he'd have never. That dude would have died.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So he goes through and he pulls him, he kind of starts digging with his hands, realizing, he's probably, I don't know how long this dude's been in here, starts digging through the freaking
The snow, just trying to get him out.
He's like hey buddy, speak to me. Can I, trying to look for his face. Finally, he sees where his face is, a whole 5 feet, 6 feet down. And then he pulls the snow off his mouth. You hear the guy go, take that deep breath, like, holy shit, I was down here for a minute. Guy gets his shovel and just starts raking them out, and the guy's like, thank you. And it's just my biggest fear of having to go snowboarding
Oh, my God.
is that's going to be me one day.
That reminds me. So I've seen some videos kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
The ones that are like on the snowmobiles, and these guys are going ham through these fields, this backcountry, and then they go a little bit too steep on some of these embankments, and then they end up tipping over. Right? They tip over, and I saw one that was just like the one you said. Some guys like riding through, and comes up to a guy, another snowmobile flipped over. So he like goes up there and he sees that there's a foot. Same thing. Just kind of sticking out. It's like, oh man. And he starts digging out, just start shoveling through there. And he's like, is this guy dead or alive? Like, what's going on? And
Yeah.
sure enough, like the guy, like you said, kind of like, starts screaming, right? And he's like, I'm gonna get you out. And like, good God, man, like, it kind of makes me think, right? Like snowboarding, skiing, whatever the sport is, like you got to be careful out there. Like it's crazy, like how easy it is to like get yourself in some of these predicaments.
Absolutely.
And then it's like, you never think that it's going to be you. You never think it's like, that's not going to happen to me. Yeah, that'll never happen to me. Yeah. And then, boom, there you are, buried in snow, and some random guy just shoveling you out. I was like, what the hell?
I think if you're going to go, at least go with someone else. So that way, if you don't show up somewhere, your friend is pretty much saying, whoever it is you go with is, hey, I came up here with someone and I have not seen them.
Yeah.
Start a search party.
Exactly. At the very least. So that reminds me of, like I said, I was going somewhere with that story. But whenever I would go swimming sometimes, and I would go down into the deep end, and, you go down, and maybe it was like in the ocean. Yeah. There was like a few beaches back home where you would go in, and you were walking, it was all sand. All of a sudden, there was no sand.
Just a cliff,
straight
drops off.
Just straight drops off. And I would go out there, and it was fun at the time, whatnot. Like I would go down there, There was sometimes that the current caught me by surprise, and it would like take me, and it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, hold on, and I would have to like start to like make my way up, start to make my way, and it seemed like forever, and it's like, oh god, oh god, like I'm literally like you go down under seawater, and you close your eyes for the most part, but like. You get to a point where it's like, no, I need to see. I need to see
where I'm going.
I need to see where I'm going. And like I would just open the eyes, like look up. It's like, okay, there it is. There's the light. And you keep swimming. It's like, oh my God.
I'm not getting anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere. And finally you break through, and it's like, yeah, like you
Oh, son of a
dude, like I'm telling you, like when you take that deep breath in, it's like, I'm gonna live to see another day.
That reminds me of I went to Maui a few years back, and I went to, I think it was called Big Beach or Big Wave Beach. I think
Big Wave Beach.
I think so. Don't quote me on that. So I go there, and it's the beach where a lot of surfers go because there's huge tides and stuff.
Right.
There's huge waves and rip tides. So I decided to take up the board that the people had left at was kind of like an Airbnb that we rented out.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, we're going to go ahead to here. So I took that, and I was like, all right, I'm going to try to get this board out there as far as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
And I see the tides coming over and just crashing into the sand. And I was like, okay, I got to time this perfectly. So I saw it crash. I grabbed the board. I go running. I jumped out there. And I'm telling you, that tide formed again before I could even get past. Hit me. And, when you see these waves, you're like, you think to yourself, I can make it through that.
I can make it through.
You
Yep.
can't make it through shit. That tide flipped over, grabbed me, and pinned me into the ground. The board, I don't even know where the hell the board went. And I had somehow flipped upside down, and the wave was so strong, the current was so strong, there was so much weight on me that my body was like crumpled up while I was upside down. So I could feel the air on my feet, but my head was submerged.
Yeah, underwater.
And all the sand had kicked up, so I couldn't see a damn thing.
Buddy.
And all I could think about was, this is how I'm going to die. Because as it's doing it, I was like, how much longer till I hit the damn beach?
Oh, yeah.
And at the same time, I'm like, I'm running out of breath. I held my breath as long as I could. And I'm running out of oxygen. Eventually, it threw me off onto the beach, and I picked my head up. And like you said, that breath of relief.
Fresh air, yeah. Yeah, that's how you know. It's like, I'm going to make it. Yeah, dude, like, it's crazy. Like, the ocean is unforgiving. And a lot of people underestimate it, take it for granted, and it's like, dude, do not. Do not.
That's a good way of putting it, unforgiving.
Unforgiving. One time, kind of the same scenario, like the tide picked up again, and I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was just kind of swimming around. And where we were at, so you have the beach right here, and then like maybe, I'm saying like maybe like 100 feet out, there was like this coral reef that was like right off the shore, and a lot of people would go out, swim to it, like stand there, whatever, and like they would dive from it, something cool to do, whatever. I remember I went out there and I stood on it, like I'm jumping off, doing my thing, and then it's like I was like, all right, cool, it's time to go back. And I saw this big wave, dude, like huge, just come through, and it's like, oh, well, the reef will break the wave, because that's what it normally does. It didn't. So it just like broke through the reef, came straight through, and like took me, dude.
Demolished
and like it took me down. And I was like, oh man, like I tumbled. I didn't know where the heck I was, and I'm like looking around, I'm like, oh no, oh no, and it like sucked me back in, and I hit that reef.
Damn.
And I'm telling you, like I swam out, and I was like halfway to the shore. I was already swimming on my way back, and then that wave pulled me back.
As you're swimming,
as I'm swimming, it's like I was just like, boop, and I hit that reef, dude, and I was like, oh man, this is how I go.
Yeah.
And then I like came up, like my head barely, like my face, literally just my face barely got air. It's like, and then right back down
Right back
again,
in.
right back in. And I went through this like a couple more times, and I was like, I need to do something. So when one of the waves was coming in, I timed it per se, right? Timed it, and I like pushed myself with the wave, and like I tried to like kind of like swim out as the wave was like literally taking me to shore. And as it did that, there was like another piece of coral reef somewhere in between. And dude, I felt my leg hit it. It was like right
tear it up.
from knee down to shin, right? And it's like, don't look back, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And finally, like I hit shore, and I got to shore, dude, and it was leaking, just blood coming down, and I was like,
Damn.
ah, man. And like right there, that's when I was like, I had a lot of respect for the ocean after that, dude. Like a lot of respect.
I'm not the strongest swimmer, but I was out there. We found this little cove in Maui, and we decided, oh, this is a good spot. You know, there's no one here yet. So we grabbed on our snorkel gear.
Right.
Not snorkel? Yeah, snorkel gear.
Yeah.
You know, just a little goggles and little tube so you can breathe.
Yep.
And we're out there, and just like you said, like that current, you don't expect
You don't
it.
ever
don't
expect
respect
it. Yeah, like
it just grabbed me, pulled me under, and I'm not the strongest swimmer to begin with, right? So like I struggle a little bit, and I look under, and I'm like, there's a lot of sea urchins right below me, and I immediately panicked. I'm sitting there and I'm trying to swim up as hard as I can. I'm pulling my inner Michael Phelps up. I'm trying to lift myself up, and I can't, and I'm sinking lower and lower, and I'm like, this is about to fucking hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm about to step on a whole batch of sea urchins.
Oh, yeah.
And do they have a little bit of poison in them?
They do. They are poisonous. Like so it's not like, let me see if I remember right. They're not like poisonous, like they're going to kill you, but the area will go numb. Like it's almost like a paralysis poison type of deal.
Swell up.
It's just going to hurt, and it's just going to like go numb. You're not going to feel the area, and it's like it just sucks, dude. So you just want to avoid it altogether.
I was trying. So I'm sitting there, and
dude.
I finally, out of nowhere, I said, okay, I can't swim up. There's too much. There's something up top. There's a current, so I'm pushing me down. So I said, screw it. I knew what little oxygen I had left. I aimed my body down and started swimming outwards.
Yep.
And eventually, I got out of whatever current was holding me down, and I was able to pop myself up.
Yep.
And another.
It's always like those deep breaths. You just like, oh my God.
Savor them like, there's oxygen. Tastes so good.
Oh yeah, like that good old O2, man. It's just like, yeah.
And it's crazy, right? So I always I feel like everyone has a fear of like running into a shark into the water. Obviously,
That's the least of my fucking worries.
that's the least of your worries.
Yeah, the least of my worries.
That's pretty high up there.
Yeah.
So, and maybe it's because I'm not that strong of a swimmer. So I tend not to go too far out when I'm swimming in the ocean. But I went out there and I was swimming off one of the beaches. The current wasn't that strong. The waves weren't that harsh. So I'm out there swimming, right, enjoying myself, splash around.
Yeah.
like an idiot in the water. And I'm just
Splashing
enjoying my day, enjoying my life. And I see out there on the beach about, I'd say 40, 50 feet away from me. And everyone's like pointing to this thing. They're like, oh my God, look at it. And then it like moves away from them. And my friend Amanda goes, it's coming right for you. And I was like, what coming right for me? And as it comes for me, right, I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the hell is this? I just see this shadow underneath my feet. I was like, it's a damn shark. It's a damn shark. I'm panicking. I'm freaking out. I'm sitting there and I peek my head on the water and I'm like, it's not a shark. It's a minivan sized damn turtle. This thing is massive.
God.
It is huge, right? And I'm like, oh my God, okay, thank God it's
Like
just a turtle.
One
And
of those
then,
giant sea turtles.
yeah, it was huge.
Jesus.
And for those of you who don't know, you are not allowed to touch them turtles. The oils in our skin, they like cause boils on their bodies and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. If you touch one of those turtles there, it is worse than getting a DUI.
Jesus.
I've heard of upwards of 20 grand of a fine and a year in jail.
My God.
Yeah, don't touch the damn turtles if you go
touch
to Hawaii.
the turtles.
They respect their sea life so much, and I'm all about it. That's why we all go there because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
We want to see that, but do not touch them turtles. They'll come up onto the beach and they'll be resting and stuff.
Yep.
And people get too close, you'll have someone come out of nowhere yell at you, "Get away from the turtles!"
Yep.
So, if you go to Hawaii, respect that. Don't touch the turtles.
Don't touch the sea life.
Yep. So I'm sitting there, and it's underneath me, and I'm remembering that. I'm like, oh, I can't touch this thing. There I go. For some reason, my body goes, I'm going to start sinking. And I'm trying not to kick this turtle in the freaking head. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, swimming up as hard as I can. Eventually, it passed on, and I'm like, thank God.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Dude, so we have something similar. It's not like you can't. It's not that you can't touch the turtles. A lot of people back in PR they touch the turtles, but do not mess with their eggs, like their nesting area.
Yeah.
Do not touch it. That is just as bad as a DUI.
Is it so like?
So like if you mess around with like their nest, like if they go and they find a place to nest, and like lay their eggs and stuff like that, then that is like sacred. Do not go near it. Do not touch it. In most instances, if they can catch the turtle laying the eggs, they'll like kind of like barricade the area off.
No shit.
And it's like, okay, cool. Like this area is identified as like, hey, it's a nesting ground. Don't go near it. But a lot of times it's like, yeah, don't touch the nest. Don't do anything because there's a lot of people that would go up and like grab these eggs and try to take them home or try to like put them in the ocean. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like, why would you put that in the ocean?
Yeah, there's a reason why they came on land to lay those eggs.
There's a reason. Yeah, exactly. So people are just being ignorant and stuff like that. So there is a pretty hefty fine if you touch that nesting area, like that nest itself. That it's just as bad as a DUI. So it's like, stay away from it. Don't even think about it.
In fact, when I went to when I was there on the island, and so I went to Target and on the island, and I went to go check out.
Yeah,
and there's no bags. Like that was the first time So here in Colorado, we just started. We got rid of plastic bags.
Plastic bags, yeah.
So now, like Safeway has them, but they're like 10 cents, depending on how many
Walmart's
you get.
the same thing too. Yeah, it's 10 cents.
So Hawaii didn't have any. None. And I was confused because here we didn't get rid of it yet.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there like, where the hell do I put my stuff? And the reason why they don't have plastic bags, I'm sorry, I got the hiccups. The reason why we don't have plastic bags there is because plastic bags in the ocean look exactly like jellyfish.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what turtles eat.
Yep.
From my understanding. Anyway.
I think so, yeah.
I think that I was told that. So when they see a plastic bag, they just immediately go for it. They ingest it and stuff. It's just bad.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a photo out there or a video going around. This is years old, but it still shows just how sad it was. It was a turtle with a plastic straw stuck in its nose.
Plastic straw in its nose. Yeah, I saw that, and like the fishermen tried to yank it out. Yep. I think that's the video that you're talking about.
So they don't have any of that there. They have no plastic straws. The straws for like a Starbucks for like. And those paper ones that immediately dissolve. And you're like, ugh.
It makes sense, man. It's just like,
it.
okay, I get it. But like here, it's crazy because like people were throwing a fit about like, oh, no more plastic bags. Like there was a guy at work that was like, went to do a whole grocery haul. Did a whole grocery haul, got to the checkout line, and when they checked it all out, he said it was like $300 worth of, items.
So he had five
food,
things.
Whatever. And, right, like five things.
Now, inflation.
And when they said, it's like, hey, do you want to go ahead and pay for the bags? Do you have your own bags or do you want to pay for the bags? 10 cents each. And it's like, and I guess he didn't know. So he was like, what? Like, I got to pay for the bags now, like, or
Yeah.
provide my own bags? They're like, yeah, like this is a new thing, like this is when it recently passed. And he was like, are you serious? Like, I really got to pay 10 cents for each bag? He's like, yeah. So he's like, all right, cool. I don't need any of that stuff.
Just
He just walked out. And I was like, damn, dude. Damn, that's a power move right
that's
there.
I mean, essentially the smaller stores are like Walmart are becoming more like what is their distribution center that you can go in and buy? Sam's Club.
Sam's Club, yeah.
So like a Sam's Club.
It's like their sister company,
Yeah, they don't really have bags or anything.
Bags,
they have like you
they
can
have
get
boxes.
lucky. You can get boxes and
Yep.
stuff. For the most part, when I go shopping there, I just whatever's in my cart is I'll just scan it, pay for it, and then I'll just throw it in the
Yep.
back of my car, and then make many trips to my car to come back out for it.
So what's funny is that so like the whole plastic bags, right? They're reusable. So I like to get them, like, cause they're reusable. I
As
can
long
use
as you
them
don't
for
rip
like
it open.
right, like I can use them for like little trash cans at the house, bathroom trash cans, or like if I want to like line something, whatever.
Yeah.
With Sam's Club, with the boxes and stuff like that, it's like I don't grab any boxes to like package my stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's just another box to break down. And like that's one of the things that I hate. I hate breaking down boxes, dude. You don't know how many times I walk into the garage and there's a stack of boxes just sitting there waiting for me. It's
Yep.
like
That's like the jukebox that's behind this wall for the bar.
oh yeah.
It's a huge box. I'm like, you can tell where how you grew up. If you grew up in a very more wealthy, rich family or neighborhood,
Right.
You ever notice like someone they'll have a brand new TV box right
Oh
outside on
yeah,
the curb?
right outside on the curb.
If
Yeah.
you grew up in a poor neighborhood, you were told from the beginning, don't you put that damn box out there.
Don't you put that box out there?
'Cause
Yeah.
all it is an advertisement for everyone else out there. Look at what I just got. Come rob me.
Check it out,
Yep,
buddy.
that's what I've always been told, since I've been younger.
Come right in.
Yep.
Make yourself at home.
And for those, I've actually had a, you're aware of this,
Yeah.
when my house got robbed. I'm telling you, nothing makes you want to kill someone more than coming home and finding your entire house ransacked. That is a shitty feeling.
That is crazy to me that people still do that kind of stuff. And I try to like tell myself like, what is that person's situation, right? Like whatever the case may be, I think it's wrong,
Yeah, absolutely.
but I'm trying to like put myself in their shoes, I guess, sometimes, and say maybe if it wasn't for profit, right? Like let's say that you are legit like hungry, you are trying to like feed yourself or feed your family or whoever it is. Like at what lengths are you willing to go to do that,
Yeah.
to like be able to provide for your family?
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can understand you're hungry, you're starving, you're cold.
Right.
You need someplace to just crash.
Exactly.
If you're hungry, if the guy came into my house and just stole my food, I'd have understood, okay, this dude was hungry.
Yeah.
He came in my house and stole everything.
Yeah, and stole everything.
Stole one of my cars. Funny story, this dude came in my house, robbed it, took my car. It was stick, so the dipshit didn't know how to drive stick. Blew the motor just going down the street. They found him 100 feet from my house. Just as you get down the street and you make a turn, that's where the car was, and he was passed out high on meth.
Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stole my aluminum foil.
Yeah.
Like you put over food or
Yep.
containers. He stole that so he can cook his shit.
Cooked meth
Yeah.
or smoked the meth or
how
whatever.
it is.
Yeah,
Either way,
whatever.
that's what he did. He ransacked my entire house, blew the motor on my Honda. And I got to tell you, that makes me, and I know it's wrong. I know a lot of people will be like, don't let the fault of one person ruin it for everyone else. I'm telling you, there'd be people on the side of the road, they'd ask for money. I'd give them $1 or $2 here if I had change. Now, I'm telling you, that one guy ruined it. When you come home and you find
Yeah.
all your life savings gone,
Gone. Yep.
it changes your mindset on how you look at people. Anyone in the comments can hate me for this. I don't care.
I don't know, like,
I hate these people now.
because it's pretty much bullshit that they can just come in, make away with all your stuff, like something that you worked hard for.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, I don't have anything, so I'm just going to take all the stuff and basically sell it. It's like, there's the argument to be said that, go ahead, go out and get a job, you bum, right? And this was another argument that I had with somebody. These people that they've been called bums, hobos and stuff like that, and said, like, why don't you just go get a job? And a lot of them actually do try. A lot of them actually do try to, like, go out, find a job. But it's like, think about going to prison.
Yeah.
And I've seen this happen before where people will go to prison for whatever. They come out, they try to get a job, and it's like immediately they look at their background and they're like, sorry, bud, I can't give you a job. And now they are kind of like in a rabbit hole, basically, because they have bills to pay, or they have like responsibilities, right? They have to like feed their kids, feed their families, or whatever, or pay child support for some reason. And it's like these employers will not hire them because of previous convictions. Exactly. And
I
and it's
understand.
kind of like the same for like homeless people.
Yeah.
Because like they see that, he's homeless. So like if I give him money, what's he gonna use it on? Like what's it gonna go towards? And it's just a lot of doubt.
Yeah.
A lot of questions that
I
you as
get
an
that.
employee, it's like,
I understand that, like we say, go out, get a job. It's easy to preach, and not understand the troubles they go through. But here's the thing about that. There are companies out there now that get incentives. Like the more you hire, if you hire a certain ethnicity or you hire certain
Right.
convicts,
Yeah.
they get paid for that.
Yep.
Because it's like they're helping the community. So
Yep.
the states, they get funding for that.
Yep.
So, and not only on top of that, there are tons of things out there now that help people get jobs. So to me, I still can't look past that. And I damn near hate them all.
yeah,
And it's, like I said, I grew up not wealthy. I didn't grow up, with
Right,
a family
yeah.
that had money. I have family members right now that are junkies. So, but I can't. I went through the same thing they did. So my mind can't understand why I chose the path of I'm going to work hard, and they just wanted to eventually fuck off and get government assist.
yeah, exactly.
So, like, what time do you get up for work every day?
I wake up 2:45 every morning.
2:45.
Yeah,
I wake up at 3:00
Yeah.
to get to work a 12-hour shift, and then we get off roughly around 4:00 or 5, or roughly 5, 4:30 to 5.
yeah,
So it makes me mad when I sit there knowing, when you hand out money to someone, I'm not looking at it like I'm handing out money. I'm looking at it like I'm handing out time. I'm
Yep.
handing you time that I spent
Yep.
of my life. I can't get back. That is the one thing. Doesn't matter how much
Yep.
money you have, you can't buy back time.
Yep. Exactly.
So when I hand you a 20, I tell myself, how much time did I just give away
exactly.
that I will never get back?
Definitely.
That I spent at a place I don't want to be.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm there because I need to. I got bills. You got responsibilities. You got a family.
Absolutely.
So I look at it like, hey, if you want this money, you're going to damn well earn it. I got weeds to pull in my backyard. I'll let you come over. You can pull
Yep.
some weeds, but no one wants to do that.
Nope.
They say they want to work. They don't want to work.
They don't want to work. They just want a quick handout. And it's crazy that you say that because I've actually, I sat down one day and I thought about that, right? For some reason, I was calculating, I was going to buy something. And what ended up happening was, I calculated the cost of that item. And when I saw the cost of the item, I was like, that's about what I make in a day, right? And I was like, damn, am I really willing to spend
A day's work.
a day's worth on this one item because I want it, because I need it? If I need it, if I absolutely need it, then there's no questions asked, right?
Yeah, you do it.
One thing that I learned from my my old man taught me was, if there's groceries to be bought, bills to be paid, don't think about it twice. Just pay it.
Just do it.
Just do it. No matter how much it's worth, he always told me, like, make sure you have a full tank of gas and make sure that you have food in your pantry, right? And it's like, okay, that's understandable. I think I'm going to draw the line at $300 worth of groceries, but I'm like, hey, easy.
It's so outrageous now.
It's crazy. Like, it is. But, that's kind of where I, like, okay, I get the point that he was trying to make.
Yeah.
I'm still going to try to, like, be smart about it and, like, make pretty, like, smart decisions on, like, those type of things. But, like, when it comes to, like, material possessions and, like, just, like, items, like, everyday items or whatever, I really think about that kind of stuff now. And it's like, that's a day's worth. That's half of my day right there. That's an hour of my,
you look at it
right, that's my
time.
Hourly, that's my time right
it's
there.
No longer you no longer look at the dollar sign, you look at it as time. How much time did I waste at this job for that amount of money?
Exactly. So, like, recently I've been I just been reading more now, and it's crazy because I hate reading. I hate it with a passion, dude. You know how boring it is?
I'm right there with you.
Good God,
I'm reading
man.
a book on Japanese culture because I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, like, I'm struggling because it's not something I do. I don't really read books.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I read, but I don't really read. Like, I don't go out and buy books and be like, I'm going to finish this. So,
Exactly.
I read articles and stuff, but
Yep.
when I sit there and read that, I'm forcing myself. Like, I got to get through this. I got to get through this.
Oh, absolutely. So, like, recently, so far to date, I have finished 2 books cover to cover. And I'm like, oh, man.
Pat on the back.
right there, buddy. The one, I told you about the one, the Norse mythology one. I read that whole book completely, only because I was actually legitimately interested in it.
Yeah.
And the second one was like a finance book. And the last finance book that I read was an audiobook. And I just, like, listened to the dude, like, literally just, like, tell me about it. I damn near fell asleep through it. I had to, like, rewind certain parts. I'm like, all right, tell me again, because I missed that whole part. I eventually got through it, but this is, like, the first time that I actually, like, put in the effort and, like, paid attention to the book. And, like, there's something to be said there. Like, once you actually pay attention to these things, like, actually put your time and effort into it, then you can actually reap the rewards, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's knowledge gained.
Exactly. It's knowledge gained. And it's like, okay, now I can actually apply this to my day to day. Like, what can I do better now? Right.
Yeah.
So, like, I've picked out a few other books. I did actually pick up a Japanese mythology book as well. I picked up another book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Sounds like something I practiced for years.
Right? So I'm like, okay, like, that last book that I mentioned is more like I don't know if you've ever heard of this, like, self-help. So it's a self-help book, right? It's basically like you kind of like trying to find yourself, if you would, like, one of those things, like, you go out to, like, a mountain and you sit at the peak and you, like, look at the sky, like,
self-reflection,
and sit there. It's like,
meditation,
yeah. Right? Kind of something like that, right? And this is more like kind of like that. They're not actually telling you what to do. They're just kind of like highlighting certain things in life that you kind of like relate to, kind of like what we do on this podcast, right? We just talk about stuff that we just, we've been through, and
self experiences, personal experiences.
It is, and that's literally what the book is, and it's meant to just kind of like, hey, if anything that I wrote in this book kind of like relates to your life and how you interpret it, then it helped you.
Yeah, kudos.
Basically. So it's like, okay. So, like, so far I read chapter 1 and it's just a comedy so far. And I don't know how I feel about that. I'm like, is this supposed to be like, are you supposed to help me or are you supposed to make me laugh? Like,
I think the
what's
dude,
going
like,
on right now?
like you said, like the dude probably wrote the book, and then he's like, "Hey, if it helps you, it helps you. If it doesn't, oh well." Mm-hmm. So take it as it is.
Take it as it is, I guess. Yeah. So it's like, okay, all right. But I mean, going back to like the whole homelessness. Damn, we really turned left on that one.
Oh yeah.
And but talking about homelessness, I see that the problem's getting worse.
It is, and it makes me mad because, and like I said, I feel like I get some choice of being able to talk about this because I didn't grow up from a family that was wealthy.
Right.
I didn't, my parents worked hard for what they got. I know what it's like to be poor.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're skating by to barely afford to pay. There are times to where, my parents looked at me and was like, I don't know if we can buy you clothes for the upcoming school year.
Yep.
Like what you got, your hand-me-downs is all you're going to have.
Yep. That's
and, I have family that are living under a bridge right now. And you don't want to help them because you've helped them before. And they make the choices to go back to that lifestyle.
Yep.
No matter what they say that they're going to change, I'm telling you right now, 90% of these people don't want to change.
And that's a hard pill to swallow because I have a family member in the same boat, right? For years, they've always said, like, I'm going to figure it out this time. This time is actually going to work. This time it's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. And they don't make it happen.
They don't make it happen.
And you've helped them out throughout their life, right? You try to like bring them up to speed, like, come on, like, hey, you can do this, but for some reason, like integrating into society, it's like the hardest thing to do for some reason. It's like they just want to go back to their easy life, like their easy, easy money, easy whatever. And they don't want to like actually take responsibility.
No. I remember taking my uncle, I was with my parents, and my uncle was in the car, and we drove to this very sketchy part of town, and we drove close to the tracks, right? And he got out, and I was like, dude, you know how cold it is today? It's in the negatives. He goes, no, it's all right. It's all right. And he went off into his tent somewhere in the bush somewhere. And I'm like, God, that would suck, dude. On a day that's negative, you're in the negative degrees, and you're going not to a home, but to a tent.
To a tent, yep.
That should be the moment you look at your life and be like, what went wrong? And this dude has no problem with that.
Some people, it's like that's not the least of their worries. And I personally, like negative weather, that's when I'm going to revisit my life.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't have a meal to eat today. I'm going to revisit my life, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, like I might get kicked out of this spot because I'm like illegally here, right? Like I'm not supposed to camp here. Oh, then that's another revisit to my life, right? There's a lot of things that I would revisit. And a lot of things that I think about, it's like, don't go down that path.
Don't go down that path,
Just don't go down that path.
And here's another thing, right? You've seen the videos, you've seen the ads, the campaigns to not do drugs. Once, tell me, have you ever looked at one of those billboards where you see a meth head or someone who's high on heroin and be like, I want to try it at least once? What part of that? It doesn't look, and even for like smoking weed, right? Like it's not that, for those who like it, cool. I'm not shitting on your, your niche.
Right.
You like that, this is alcohol is my poison.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, sit there and say that it's
right.
not bad for you.
No, absolutely.
But there are things when it's that chemically infused, made
right.
to where nothing of it is good. It's going to destroy your life. That high is going to make you want to do things that are downright bad for that next high.
Yep.
Who looks at that and says, I'll try it once?
So like a lot of these people that you're talking about, the I'm gonna try this once and see how it goes. So I have like two things to talk about that, right? A lot of times there's influences, right? Like either family or friends, and it's mostly young. You are young in these stages, right? You remember when you were in high school, middle school, right? You knew who was doing it. You knew who was like
Yeah.
sneaking around, whatever the whole case. And at some point, you said like, "Hey, maybe I want to try that. Maybe I want to do that. Maybe I want to experience that." Right? That's where the slippery slope goes, right? You either slip down the slide and like get off and never go back on it, or sometimes you just want to keep going down that slide all the time, right? And I think that's the turn that people take, right? A lot of times they kind of like try it once, right? Like my dad always said it. A lot of people might disagree with me, but I always said weed is a gateway drug because for the most part, that's kind of where you start out.
I mean, you think about it, right? You get the high, and you're like, "Oh, this feels great."
Exactly.
And then they tell you, like, "Well, you like that high? This high is even more intense."
Exactly. And it's like I've never known anybody that just went straight to meth.
0 to 100, like that.
Just like that. I've never known anybody. So it's like for you to tell me that like weed is not a gateway drug, it's like I get it. You are a high advocate for weed and like it's good,
I think it's for people who have a very addictive personality, right?
Right, exactly.
So if you're like that, if you have a strong mentality where you can smoke it and be like, "This is all I want. I don't need any more."
Exactly.
Than that. Cool. I applaud you.
Yep.
You know your boundaries. You know that it's not good to go past that.
Exactly.
Then there are those people who, what's the word? Stupid.
Yeah.
They're they're downright retarded, and they're like, I want more. I want a better high. I want a stronger high.
Stronger high,
And
better.
Move on.
And it just keeps escalating. And that was like the point that I was going to make. That was the second type of people that I think, right? So you always hook these people young, right? And make sure that they go down the path, right? Or et cetera, et cetera. And then you hit a home run when you get somebody like that, and their personality is just addictive. Whatever it is, drug that they do, it's just they need to have more of it. So like everybody has their addictions, right? Like it's not necessarily like drugs or whatever. Like you always have like
something as simple as coffee.
Something simple as coffee. And this is what people don't understand. It's like, oh, coffee's not a drug. It's like,
yes,
it's still addictive, dude. Like, yeah, like it's not a drug, but like if I see you having like 10 cups a day, like, buddy, you got
a problem.
You got an issue.
And I love coffee, man. I can't make it through the day without a cup of coffee.
Absolutely.
I absolutely need it. Like, it's essential. Like, I know when I get to work, that's the start of my day. There's a hot pot brewing, and I'll pour me a cup, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready for my day.
And it's always, like I said, it's always like one thing that person like is gonna cling on to. It's like whether it's weed, an
obese person with food.
An obese person with food, exactly. Like addiction. Addiction is like the main problem here with some of these people, and they just decide that it's like, I'd rather have this more than what I want to breathe.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
This is more important to me than anything else.
And the repercussions is an unhealthy life. You're gonna possibly die from it, and that's the mind-blowing part about it, right? Is for some of these drugs,
nicotine.
Yeah,
you're another one. Yeah,
you're sitting there, right? You're doing black tar heroin, and you're like, do you have any idea what you're pumping into your veins right now?
Yep.
And the high outweighs, in their mind, hey, at any moment after I pump this thing into my veins, my heart could stop and I'm done.
Yep.
In fact, I've seen it. I've literally seen it. I've seen this dude OD in front of me. They drug him out of the house.
Good night.
And they started doing CPR on him, right? And I'm sitting there like, what the hell is going on, right? I run up to the guy. I go, do you want me to call an ambulance? And the dude straight up, while he's doing compressions on this dude's chest, looks at me He goes, nah, man, he's all right. He's not all right. The dude's fucking dead in front of me. You're trying to revive him. You're trying to resuscitate him right
You're
now.
literally trying to bring him
while
back.
he's doing compressions on the dude's chest. And he goes, nah, he's all right, bud.
He's good.
You know, it's just one of those days. No, it's not one of those days. So I'm sitting there like, I can't believe I'm young as hell. I'm a teenager. I'm like 16 maybe at the time. And I see the dude just Frankenstein. Stand up. Like, I was like, what the fuck was that? I was like, dude, you were dead 5 seconds ago. That is mind blowing. So the ambulance ended up coming. I think someone else called because the whole neighborhood was like, what the hell? Like the street it happened on has gone downhill very bad. So it's just filled with junkies. The junkies and the dealers. The dealers live across the street while they watch their junkie customers OD. And the guy's sitting out there, walks back in, makes himself a sandwich, comes back out, just sitting there. I was like, I don't understand how the high could be worth you breathing, how you're okay with that.
Yep, it's crazy. It is crazy. Like one thing that a lot of people don't know too. Like I don't know how meth is, but like crack. One day I was walking by and I always heard like some of these older guys, talk about it or whatever. And I was just walking by and somebody was actually doing it. And they're like smoking the stuff. And I was like, damn, dude, you're going hard. All right, cool. And like, I just walked by and like the smell hit me and I almost passed out. Like it was just so strong. Like the smell, like that
burning pipe
was so strong that I was like, oh my God, dude, like what is that? He's like, oh man, this is the good stuff right here. Like what? Are you kidding me? You're putting that shit in your body? Like, are you serious right now? And they're like, yeah, this good stuff right here, man. I'm like, no, man, there's no way. You can't convince me.
I've been to a party once, right? And this was all to try to hook up with this chick. And
don't we all?
Oh, yeah. She never even ended up showing up. And the lengths I went to, I was like, hey, just trying to get her number, right? I was like, someone here's got to know her. Someone here's got to have her damn number.
Yeah.
And he's not even a buddy, he's a dude that I pretty much hit up. Was like, hey, do you have so-and-so's number? He goes, yeah. We'll try and invite her out. Let's go to this party. We'll invite her and stuff. She never ends up showing up. And then this guy goes, well, let's go to my buddy's house. Go to this guy's house. And I shit you not, there's this paper plate with a pile of Coke on it. And they are cutting it up in front of me. And they start just snorting it, right? And this guy goes, hold this plate for me. I held it for him.
What?
And he just does a line off the plate. And I was like, what the fuck? He goes, all right, I'll hold it for you. I was like, no, I'm good, bro.
No, I'm good.
And the dude straight up, he was an apologetic crackhead. He goes, oh, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know you didn't do this. I didn't know you didn't partake. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
They're so polite. I didn't know you didn't partake.
I wouldn't have had you held the plate for me. I was like, what the fuck is going on? These guys ended up getting so high, they went to another house where I had to call my cousin. I was like, come pick me up.
Come get me.
Right the fuck now.
Get me out of here.
And this goddamn dude high off Coke pulls out this giant, he's got this this paper that he unravels, and it's huge. It's bigger than this table.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, I was like, what the hell is this? And he has these rivers drawn. He's got these mountains and stuff. And I was like, are we like doing, is this like wine and painting, except it's, Coke and and crayons? Coke and crayons, CNC. And he goes, and they pull out these boards, right? It was Dungeons and Dragons. He drew a whole map, and he goes, yeah, man, I've been working on this for the past week. I was like,
dude,
I wanted to call my cousin, like, hold on, give me another hour. I want to see this unravel.
Speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, so that movie came out, right?
Yep, went and saw it last night.
I haven't seen it. We'll save that for the other podcast, right? But I want to talk about this real quick. There was a video that's kind of going around, and this dude I don't know how long it took him, but it had to have taken him a hot minute, dude. Like it might have taken him like a year or more. But he has a table, kind of similar to this, kind of like a poker table. Think about a poker table. And it's a pretty big table for all his Dungeons and Dragons friends. And from the center, you have a flying ship that just comes up and like floats up, right? And this dude's like showing it off, shit eating grin right on his face, like, yeah. And like I look at it, like smoke and everything's coming off of this ship, dude. I was like, oh my God, dude, that's the most badass thing I've ever seen in my freaking life. And like the ship, obviously it's not just floating there. Like he has like a little like mount on the ship, right?
Yeah.
And everything. But I was like, dude, how long did this take you? It had to have taken him a hot minute, dude. Because
That's his addiction.
bro. Oh my God, dude.
D&D.
That's crazy. Like to put that much time and effort into something is like,
absolutely.
oh my goodness. Like so I have some friends, right? And I'm talking deep nerds, right? Deep nerds. I got one of my buddies down in Arizona that was telling me like, oh yeah, like we play Dungeons and Dragons. I was like, man, that's cool. Like, good for you, man. He's like, yeah, do you want to play? I was like, I live in Colorado.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you can teleplay or something like that. I was like, whoa, what? He's like, yeah, you can just FaceTime in and just play. I was like, I don't think that kind of works like that. I don't think that really works out.
It might, like I don't understand. I don't know how Dungeons and Dragons works. I've never played it. Now it's a cultural or a pop cultural thing now.
Right, yeah.
The fact that they made a movie about it, I think, it's cool to be a nerd nowadays, right?
It is.
It's cool to be a nerd. It wasn't when I was younger, when I was a nerd.
Man.
I had to hide it. But it's nowadays it's cool to have been a nerd.
Yeah. And it's crazy how like back then it was the same thing. Like you couldn't like tell people that you like certain things.
Yeah, thought
'Cause
you were geeky.
You were about to get shit on, dude.
You were a kid. Like you still collect these cards. Why don't you grow on up?
Yeah, exactly.
Now that my cards are worth more than they probably make in
exactly
a
right.
few
It's
months.
Yeah.
Suck on that.
But it's crazy how like back then like these things were frowned upon, and they like hell even adults didn't want you to like fall into this trap of like going into like a rabbit hole of like following like certain nerdy stuff or whatever.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you know what, like basically when the light bulb turned on for me, it's like in my adult years I was like, who gives a shit?
You hit that age.
Who cares?
Or mentally, you reach that level to where, like you said, who cares? You look at everyone like, I don't give a fuck what you think of me.
Yeah.
If you think I'm weird because I like a certain something, but because I'm a certain age and I watch cartoons still, like I watch animated shows.
Right.
Do you pay my damn bills? No, then fuck off.
Fuck you.
Yeah, like who gives a shit?
Yeah. But it's crazy like how that transition, like it took so long for that transition because we were so worried about like what other people thought of us.
Public image, right?
Yeah, it's like you don't want to look like the nerd. You don't want to look like the geek. You always want to be liked, like you want to have a good group of friends and stuff like that. And like,
absolutely.
I think like with all my friends in high school, like I was only really close with like a handful, literally like a handful. And these guys were all like kind of like borderline nerds, and one of them was a blazing nerd. And it's like, yeah, man, that's pretty cool. And then like whenever we hung out with everybody else, it's like he kind of like toned it down, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? And that's kind of what
it wasn't accepted.
It wasn't accepted, and I was like,
the group,
huh. All right. And like everybody in that group of friends that I had, they had like their thing, right? Whether it be Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh,
yep,
whether it be Marvel, DC, whatever. They all had like that one thing that they kind of like secretly like, oh yeah, this is my stuff right here. This is it, right? Like, who's the best Batman? Who's the best Dragon Ball character, right? Like, et cetera, right? And it's like, why couldn't we just like all share, like about this and like just be open about it? And it's like, no, I didn't care. Like I enjoyed these kind of things, but because it was so like nobody wanted to admit that they were a nerd.
With teenagers, right, is they're trying to act like adults when they're not.
Exactly.
And then when you become an adult, you want to be more like a kid. You're like, fuck, dude, that's cool. I want to do that, right? And it's so it's like a reverse role. So if you're out there and you happen to stumble upon this video somehow and you're in your teenage years, dude, no one gives a shit about what you really like.
Yeah, honestly,
if you're trying to like be cool because of your friends or some chick, screw them both, or screw them all. It's not worth it. Like what you like. Don't hide it. Don't be ashamed of it.
And honestly, like it doesn't like mean that you're gonna turn into like a different human being. Like you end up growing up just fine. It's just you like different things than what other people like. Listen, like any time somebody ever tried to like shit on me for liking Marvel, like I'm a pretty big Marvel fan.
Yeah.
And anytime somebody would try to like, oh my God, you like Marvel? Oh my God, wow, like these fake characters. Oh my God, I was like, oh my God, you like football? Oh my God, like you'll never meet this kid, you'll never meet this player in life. Oh, that's a nice jersey you got there. How much you spent for that? Oh my God,
it's the same thing, dude. It's the same thing. For some reason, they just shit on our culture of what we like.
It's just like not their. It's not their thing. Like they think that football and like drinking beer,
so manly.
It's the manly thing to do, but it's like, no, dude. Like really, you're all children. Seriously, like who actually puts in that much time to sit in front of a TV, watch a game, and like give a shit about every single player on there,
and here's the thing, right?
And then you want to shit on me because I know every single member of the Avengers. Like, come on, man.
And here's the thing too, right? Like, how many times have you seen people they'll get in huge in their football games or their matches and stuff and their teams, and they're like, oh, we won, we did it. No. They did it. You didn't do a goddamn thing but sit your fat ass on the couch and stuff your face with potato chips.
Nachos.
Not only that, how many times have you seen these guys get in a fight because you shitted on their team?
The football team lost. Yeah, I know.
Dude, they get in a fight over it. I'm like, you have nothing. You think the whole team cares about you? They can lose you and 500 others, and it wouldn't matter. They're going to get paid their millions. You mean nothing to them. If you think so, you're full of shit. When's the last time you saw another guy punch another guy in the face because he said that Captain America can take on Iron Man? Never. In fact, if that happens, I want to be there to see that.
Yeah, I want to be there to see it.
That's one angry nerd.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And you have your extremists. Like there's always like an extremist into every niche, right? Like sports, fan fiction, whatever. It's always a niche. There's always like an extremist in there that will take it to heart. But that doesn't mean that niche is less than this niche, right? Like it doesn't mean that whatever it is that you're into, that doesn't mean that this is less than what you're into. So quit trying to like shit on other people, dude. Like nobody cares.
Don't be a douche.
Don't be a douche.
Yeah.
So
and I think on that note, thank you guys for listening. If you guys are still listening, subscribe if you guys haven't already. If you guys like this content, put a comment down below if this is the kind of stuff you guys like to listen to.
Yeah, let us know what you like and give us feedback, man. Like give us something to go on here.
And for the love of God, share the videos.
Share the damn video. God, man, like that's crazy. Like how we need the views, right? Like we need to like get the views pumped up. We're like on the rookie numbers. We need to pump these numbers up, right?
Them up.
So
get some steroids in them.
Yeah, if you like it, share it. Like, it's just click on the damn video and like just watch it.
And if you took anything from this video today, just go throughout life not being a douche.
Don't be a douche.
Don't be a dick.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Definitely don't do drugs. Good vibes. And we'll catch you guys on the next video. Outro song.
Outro song.